Hi everybody, this is Marketa and Roxanne, and we are here to give you our first legislative update of the 2020 legislative session. I know that some of you were wondering why we haven't sent updates earlier, but as Roxanne will tell you, there were some deadlines last week, right, for bill introduction. And so, we've been spending last few days just reading all the bills, figuring out priorities, and figuring out what it is that we're going to be working on. So that's why it took us a little bit longer. But please, Roxanne, tell us how many bills were introduced, what are the next deadlines?
Sure. Well, it's actually, I think most of you know by now we're in the second year of a 2-year session. And so last year, 2,500 bills were introduced. This year, we had 2,200 and change introduced. And the deadline was last Friday, and in the last 2 days prior to the deadline, 1,200 bills were introduced. So we've been just trying to dig our way through them to identify bills with potential interest in healthcare and nursing, access to care, et cetera. And we've already identified several that we want to get more information on, and then we will be reporting back to you on how we're trying to represent you in your best interests.
And so just tell us, so if the bill goes into print, so it's printed out, is there some waiting period before they can be heard?
So when a bill is introduced, it's called in print, and it has to be in print for 30 days before it can be heard in a committee. Of course, in the legislature, every rule can be waived. Constitutional rules can be waived with 2/3 vote, but most of the time they adhere to the 30-day rule to allow the dust to settle and for people to actually start to take positions and identify and maybe suggest amendments to improve a bill.
So that's wonderful. So let's say that there were, as you said, there were 1,200 bills introduced in the last 2 days, on Thursday and Friday. So then now the 30 days, it's actually a good thing that there is this period because then it allows us, that's what we've been kind of doing, a little bit over the weekend and yesterday and Monday. So it allows professional organization and interested stakeholders to read the language and update their stakeholders or their board members and then figure out the position, right? So we can either support, we can watch and see what happens, or we can oppose. So that's why we were waiting after the deadline passes last Friday, so we have better idea of what the bills are. And so we picked 5 interesting ones for you, and so we'll just give you an update. There is maybe one or two that we are supporting already because they are a variation of what had been already
supported in the past.
And then there are a few that the language is still not clear. We kind of get the idea, but we really need to work with our coalition partners and ask interested stakeholders how they view it. So on several of them we don't have a position yet because we are still looking for information within the 30 days.
Something else actually that's happening right now is after bills were introduced, they have to be assigned to a committee. So they'll go to Rules Committee to determine, will the bill go to the Health Committee? Will the bill go to the Business Professions Committee? And so they meet, they confer, they determine what is the best policy committee or committees, and then they get assigned.
All right.
Okay.
So you know that AB 890 from Assemblyman Jim Wood, trying to update outdated NP regulations. So that's one of the 2-year bills we have on our list, right?
Right.
So you know that there were some amendments that are concerning to us. We spoke with our APR and coalition partners, and all the amendments are also concerning to them. So we now have some time before the bill will get, even though it's been in print, but the thought is that it should be assigned in a committee, maybe end of March, maybe April. So it gives us, a month or so trying to meet with, again, elected officials and just see if we can work with other coalition partners to do some amendments or change some of the wording, right? So
well, and it's a bill that in concept has been introduced several years in a row.
Last 22 years or 23 years, you know that, right? Nurse practitioners have tried to get, to update it, and also when we talk about it, there are also people who are upset or they're unhappy with the fact that it just deals with nurse practitioners, that it doesn't deal with all APRNs, and we absolutely understand that. But also many of you know that the full the scope of practice bills that they've been introduced over the last almost 25 years, and it has not been successful. So I think that they're just trying to figure out a different way. Plus also at the last APRN coalition call, nurse practitioners made it very clear that they did not introduce the bill, they were not authoring it. It was Assemblyman Jim Wood on his own. So, they were kind of put in a position that, to work with him and happily work with him, but, the amendments, that's something that we need to work on a little bit more. So that's AB 890.
And there's another bill, Assemblyman Rodriguez introduced AB 329, which he's attempted it in the past, but this is
2015, I think.
He describes it as trying to equalize the punishment associated with assault and battery in a hospital setting, and so.
Yeah, I think many of you remember that in 2015, Assemblyman Rodriguez already introduced this bill. It was the workplace violence in hospitals, but then he had to accept amendments, right? So it was only in emergency departments. And, Roxanne and I, we usually use that bill and the history of that bill because it passed both houses, Assembly and Senate, and then it went on the Senate Governor Brown's desk, and he vetoed it because he said, what did he say?
He did not think it would alter the behavior.
Alter the behavior, yeah. So I think that 5 years later, Assemblyman Rodriguez is trying to do the same thing. So, and like a little bit of historical tidbit, back in 2015, that workplace violence bill was one of the very first where we got all the nursing organizations, and I do mean all. We got all the California nursing organizations to work together to support Assemblyman Rodriguez and to work on that bill. So it was a good precedence, and we're looking forward to doing the same thing. What else do we have?
There's another bill where you need to get more information on, but it's AB 2116 by Assemblyman Levine, and it deals with when someone in the school setting has a seizure, they're requiring to have at least one staff member be trained to identify and treat the seizures. We have some initial thoughts, potential concerns with it. We're going to be meeting with him maybe later today, but soon for sure, to identify really what is their end goal and see if we can work with them to make sure that the bill is not problematic and is workable.
Yeah, because having school personnel receive some kind of training, but we don't know really what that is. So that would really mean that layperson would be diagnosing and evaluating and treating, pupil in seizure or before seizure or after seizure, and that's really problematic. And so we read the fact sheets, and so far it just states, that we just need to be looking after pupils' health, which is absolutely true. So we reach out to school nurses, right? So we're gonna have a meeting with California School Nurses Organization to see what they think about that. The fact sheet also mentioned that other states already have the bill in place. And one of them is New Jersey, Texas, and Kentucky. So I reached out to my colleagues in those 3 states, and so far I heard from New Jersey. And they told me that, yeah, their governor signed a bill and it went into effect this January 2020. However, all it says that only school nurses can be giving, seizure medication. That, that other school personnel, that they can assess, or they see that something is going on, so they need to call the school nurse. But nobody actually, except for the school nurse, is actually giving the medication. And that's what this bill doesn't state, right?
Right.
It says that no, it's already in place in other states, so California needs to catch up. So it's gonna be interesting. We're gonna tell you a little bit more. So what was the number? This one.
2116.
2116. What else do we have?
Well, the nurse midwives have introduced a bill, SB 1237, Senator Dodd, and so we want to, and actually it's co-authored by Assemblymember Burke, who has previously introduced similar legislation and is personally passionate about it. Very bright legislator, so we're going to be working with them and just, being a part of the process on that bill.
So I think that they're, trying to, again, kind of move away from the supervision of a physician in normal pregnancy and childbirth. The bill was introduced either Thursday night or Friday, right? It was introduced really, really late, so we don't even have a fact sheet yet. But we just know that it was introduced, so we're waiting to actually receive the full language and the reasoning why and the fact sheet. So we'll let you know, but this is SB 1237, right?
Yes, correct.
What else we got?
So the other bill, and the last bill I think we want to bring up, is one that was actually introduced last year and became law on January 1st.
Oh,
AB 5, and it deals with independent contractors, and it has woken up many, many sleeping giants. It impacts so many industries. People are coming out of the woodwork, including those in the healthcare setting. So the author, Assemblymember Gonzalez from San Diego, understands that there are some needs for revisions. Our concern is that she may not fully grasp or be open to how flawed the bill actually is. It's, they have Uber, Lyft, newspaper carriers, freelance writers, musicians, nurses. So we're going to definitely, integrate ourselves into the negotiation of amendments process. There are like more than 25 bills that have been introduced already to try to fix the many problems that the bill presents.
Weren't many of them introduced by Republicans, though?
Yes, there's a large Republican package of bills, but there are Democrats that
Yeah,
also
that's true.
acknowledge
Yeah.
that the new law is flawed and needs to be fixed.
But latest what we've heard is that that not one specific bill is actually dealing with nursing or trying to exempt nursing. So it's all the other different independent contractors, but nursing is still not on the table. So, but we're part of a coalition. We work with, I think, like 35 other organizations. So we're part of that. So, you know, there is this concerted effort to, you know, make some improvements. We have actually one more bill to tell you about, right? So it's the AB 1053. Assemblyman, is it Assemblyman? Yeah, it's AB. So Assemblyman Morlock?
Senator Morlock.
Senator Morlock.
Yeah.
So it has to be SB.
Yes.
So it is SB 1053, and that's Republican Senator Morlock is introducing e-compact licensure in California. There are absolutely some positives to it, because it would allow nurses coming and living in California with just one e-compact state license without having to apply for California nursing license, which absolutely increases the portability and flexibility and freedom to work anywhere. That's absolutely true. Also, on the other hand, there are a couple of issues that are really concerning to us. One of them is that that for the National Council on State Boards of Nursing, they are a private entity. There is really no transparency. There is no oversight. It's non-governmental organization. So that's something that we are trying to figure out and learn more. We have a phone call tomorrow, so we'll just learn more. And once we know exactly everything, how the proposal would look in California and what other coalition partners are thinking, we'll update you. And this is something that the Legislative Committee and then our board will be discussing. Do we have anything else?
I don't think so. It's going to be a busy year. They will adjourn at the end of August because it's an election year. But committees are going to be kicking off very soon. Governor will be coming back with his May revise for the budget. And it's going to be a series of deadlines from now on August 31st, and we'll keep you apprised as bills begin to get amended and move along in the process.
Absolutely. So for those of you who are registered to attend our lobby day, we look forward to seeing you here on April 20th. For those of you registered to attend our conference, Increasing Nursing Presence in Policy and Politics, on the 21st of April, we look forward to seeing you. We thank you so much, and we will continue to regularly update you. Thank you. How long was this?